This will be the third video in this series. We're basically going to just focus on making your first map. So, here's our map. It's basically just a grass field. You have 5 starting locations. I'm going to start by opening the map. Actually, if you want, you can go back and then name your map. So we're going to rename this starting map. Okay, so you can rename it. Now you can double click here or open map. So we're going to go in, and here are 6 starting locations. If you want, over here is your map tiles. You have outdoor, indoor, and ornament that you can switch in between. We're going to stick with outdoor for now. So we're going to put a couple of forests. Put a mountain range over here. Just something to put some kind of terrain in there. And we'll put a couple of little raised areas. Okay. So now we have some terrain. You can even throw a river in here if you want. Let's throw in a river. Maps are generally fun to make. And you can make some pretty easily in this. Okay, now we want a couple bridges. Bridges are going to be in the ornament section. Here's a couple of bridges. There you go. So we have a small map. Now I want to make my starting characters. So I want to make 6 starting characters, but we only have 5. So I'm going to go to map information, and right here where it says max units, we're going to go to 6. Okay, that should be good. Now we want to actually create our starting characters. So that we're going to go to our database right here, and we're going to create our units. So we have a new unit right here. It defaults as this character model in this portrait with a short sword, basically a starting lord, like Fire Emblem. I'm going to take that character, you can copy, and then I'm going to paste it so we have 6 units. Okay, and if you see next to it here, it says new unit and then a 0 right here. Those are called your unit IDs. The game basically associates this unit, whatever it's going to be, this is going to be the unit that is known as 0 in the system. So that becomes important later on. But this portrait looks fine for this one, so I'm just going to call him Swordsman. The next one we're going to do is Mage, Warrior, that'll be an axe guy. 4th will be Monk, Knight, and Archer. So in this game, I am not going to focus on battle animations. I'm actually going to have them turned off, which I think I can do in config. Enable real battle, I'm going to turn that off. I think that turns them off. So, well, let me show you what it looks like if you have it. I'm going to need to create one enemy, so I'm going to create a new enemy right here. And it's just like making the players, except I'm going to name this Goblin. So I'm going to change the portrait to a Goblin, which I think is somewhere down here. This is how you change a portrait. You just kind of click on it, and then it opens up options, and you find one you like, which I found a Goblin. Now I want to change its class. I think goblins are counted as fighters. There should be a goblin here, right here, number 38. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. We'll have 6 goblins. And it says it has a short sword. I believe goblins can use short swords. Oh, and I did this as event enemies. We actually wanted to put them in enemies, so I'm going to delete all but one of these. And I'm going to copy and paste it into enemies. You can do that by right-clicking as well. So I'm just going to make 6. And now I have 6 in there. Oops, that's map. So I'm going to switch to unit mode now. And now I can click and drag these around and place them around the map. I'll put 1 goblin there. I'll put 1 right at the start. 1 over here, behind the mountain, behind this, and then in this woods. I'll put them over here. And I will make your starting units out in the middle. That looks fine. Okay. So what I was doing that it was to show you battle animations. I'm going to do a map test. This will be tutorial. Okay, now it should let me test. Ooh, that's quite loud. Okay, we're just going to go to fight here. And you see we only have 1 unit, but I can click him here. Let's see if it does a battle animation, which this is the battle animation. I'm going to turn that off by going to database, configure, and then enable real battle. I'm going to turn it off. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing and see if that shows up. Attack. And now it should just stay on this map instead of splitting to the other scene. Okay, you can see we just stayed on the map, which is what I wanted. Going through all the animations can get quite complicated. I'm trying to make it so you can get custom map tiles, custom units, and not worry about making large animations. Okay, so now let's continue making our 6 units. We got the swordsman. Now we're going to make a mage. So let's find a good mage. I'm going to go to female. Who looks like a good mage unit? We will go with her. Okay, that's going to be my mage. We're going to change the class. Over here is mages. We're going to go with the female mage. Warrior. I like this guy for my warrior. His class is going to, in this case, be bandit. Monk. Let's see what we got here. I like this guy as my monk. This class. I don't know if there is a monk in here. So we're actually going to create a monk class. So we're going to go up here to classes. And down here we're going to go to create class. New class is going to be monk. I'm going to have a portrait for him. We're going to go to original. So, up here, I'm trying to remember, I think it's a priest. Is it the priest? This is what I like for my monk. So I'm going to use that image. And since we're not using map animation or battle animations, I'm just going to throw 2 in here. It just allows for more options. If you're actually using battle animations, those would change depending on what weapon you were using. But since we're not doing that, I'm going to allow him to use physical. And if I wanted to, since I added those other 2 animations, I could add magic or bows. But I'm just going to stick with physical. Okay, class type is normal. You can make him something different, but normal is fine. Optional experience, I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to give him any special skills. If you want, you can say his race is male. I guess M is his size. I don't really know what that does. Details. No, this allows a few extra things. And conditional show. So that looks fine for our monk. Okay. I'm just going to hit OK and go back in, because that kind of saves it. So for our monk, we're going to go to class, and now we're going to go to compound, since we added those multiple animations, but that we're not going to use. And now we have our monk. Since he uses physical, oh, looks like we don't have any weapons for physical. So we're going to create a weapon. That's under the weapons tab. So we created a new weapon. We're going to go to original. I'm going to give it the look of this claw here. Weapon type is physical. Select graphic. I'll give him the club. And we'll make it for a fighter. Okay, so since we're not really using animations, a lot of that did not matter. But now that we have our weapon, I'm going to call it fist. Price will keep at 0. I don't like my weapons breaking, so I'm just going to set it to 0 so it does not break. This is the attack power. We'll put that as 5. Its range is only 1, so it'll be hand-to-hand combat. This is the hit calculated with the weapon. So you have your character's skill times 3 plus the hit of the weapon. Gives you your total accuracy, and that gets measured against the enemy's speed times 2. So the first calculation subtracted by the second calculation gives you your accuracy for your attack. Okay? You can add crit to it. This only attacks once. I don't use weapon level. And you can give other properties to the item, such as doing effective target damage. It can give you optional skills, or it can apply a state. Okay, that's it for weapon. So now I'm going to give him the fist weapon. I believe warriors use axes, so I'm going to change that to an axe. Mages use magic books, so we're going to go with firestorm. And okay, knight, I'm going to put that as cavalier. That uses a spear. An archer, we're going to change this to the archer class, make it a female. Okay. We can change the portraits too. He's got a portrait. This guy I like to make blue. And for for my archer, I like it as a girl. I think it was this girl. Although there was another one I liked. This girl. But I already have a blue-haired person, so we'll stick with her. Okay, we'll equip her with a bow. Now, I believe we should get 6 characters, since we have 6 characters in the database, and we should be able to fight these 6 goblins, who all should have short swords. And I will make sure those short swords work by going to the classes, and let's check out Goblin. Goblin should be right here. And their equipable weapons are swords and axes, so that should be perfectly fine. It says their class type is undead. I'll leave that there, but I really thought of goblins as undead. Okay. So, hitting map test. Oh, our characters are still not showing up, so I will hit escape and go back. So we have to do something in map information. Let's see. Is it sortie restriction? And I can click all these characters. Let's see if that fixes it. Nope. Okay. Oh, I think I know where. We gotta go to configuration, and initial information, and initial members. That is probably where it was. We'll start with 100 gold. And I don't use bonus experience. We won't start with items either. Okay, so let me go back to map information, get rid of this restriction. Okay, now it should work. Huh, still not. Maybe that's because I'm doing map test. Let's actually do the real game. So we do that by hitting this green arrow. You can do a full test play of the game. And you have new game here. And now we have our 6 characters. That's why I was just doing a map test. And I didn't put test members, which I will show you where that happens in a second. So right now, we have all of our characters. We didn't change their stats at all, so they all have identical stats. I'm just right-clicking on them. And I didn't change, you see how Shortbow has 30 uses, but my monk has infinite uses. That's where I changed on the weapon. So we can go change that for all those weapons. So we can make this all 0, price 0, and so on. I also don't use weight. But if your game wants to use those, you absolutely can. This is just for learning. Okay, so all those weapons are now not able to be broken, which I think is a setting in here as well. Weapon durability is unlimited. I'm going to turn that on. Okay. So, we have our starting units. If we wanted to change their stats, we would just go in here. We can make the swordsman have 8 and 4 defense. The mage goes by magic, so we want to flip these two. We'll put that as 7 and that as 0. Movement can be 5. Warrior's movement can be 5. Swordsman is fine as 6. Monk is 5. Knight can be 7. And archer can be 5. So we can make warrior strength 9. Defense is 5. I'm just going to leave their speed and skills all the same. Give them a little bit of resistance. She can have 5 resistance, low defense. You can have 4 and 4. 3 and 4. I'll make him 4 and 4. 4. I'll make him 3 and 4. And Archer can be 3 and 3. She can have 13 hit points. You have 18, 15, 20 is fine. She'll be 13. So you can change your stats as much as you want. If you look over here, growth rates, that affects your level ups, what percentage chance you have to raise that stat. So you can keep it or change it however you want, but I like more fixed level ups, and I can show you how to do that in a future video. It's a little bit more annoying and tedious to do it, but you can. Okay, so we have our troops, we have the enemy troops. All we really need is a way to win the level. So I'm going to show you your first event. So we're going to go to up here where there's an AT, that's auto events. These are events that automatically happen when you have a certain trigger in a map. So we're going to go to new. In this event, we're just going to rename it Victory. Okay. Down here is the conditions for this event to trigger. So there's lots of different options in here, but the one we're going to look at is for unit total. We're going to enable unit total, so this trigger will actually turn on. And this trigger will turn on when the enemy army is dead, or the total enemies is equal to, like 1 is equal to the enemies that have died. I'm actually going to change this to alive, and I want to say 0. So 0 is equal to the enemies alive. So when there are no enemies alive, this will trigger. Okay. I gotta do one more thing before I finish this. I'm gonna enter. I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna create a second map. Rename. Second map. Okay. I'm gonna go back into the first map. I'm gonna go back to the auto event, and now in Victory, we can create event commands. Now for here, there's 2. You got event and battle. We're going to go to battle, and then right here, sort of in the middle, is chapter complete. So next chapter is going to be second map, and we want to go to the save screen. Okay? And that should be it. Now we can test our map and see if we make it to the second map. Do a new game. We're gonna fight. So I gave my archer the bow, so she can attack from 2 spaces. My mage can do the same. Oh, we missed. I'm gonna try and take out this, or at least weaken this goblin as well. Ugh, I keep missing. Oh, so all my characters' turns are over. I want to go and turn on auto turn skip, or auto turn end. So that's whenever your units are all done, it'll automatically end the turn. Okay. also want to turn off counterattacking. Maybe I'm gonna lose, who knows? Looks like I'm still winning though. I am missing a lot though. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna win. Now let's just see, when we kill this guy, does the map complete? Because that is when the enemy unit's total will be 0 alive. Okay, so we did it, and the map is over. We went to the save screen, and now we are on the second map. Okay, looks like our units are still dead. I guess permadeath is still on, so I will change that later. But that will do it for this video. Hopefully you get the basics of creating a map. In the next video, I will probably show you how to import custom map tiles, because I want to get these videos start looking a little bit better. Okay, thank you very much.